Hey, what's up, TruExperience Nation? It's your boy Richie McGaney. Boy, we on a mission. If you're new around here, welcome. Thank you so much for tuning in. Our mission is simple, and it's to help you learn how to experience your best life as we're learning to experience ours, okay? My wife is Amanda. We're about wealth, health, and experiences, baby. That's what we do. And we have been helping people by going over the book Atomic Habits. If you don't know, I read every day. And whatever book I'm going over, I bring back some golden nuggets to you guys. We go over each chapter. Today we're back on Atomic Habits. We're talking about how an accountability partner can change everything. I like this. I like this topic. It's interesting. We're going to talk about the inversion of the fourth law of behavior change, which the fourth law of behavior change is make it satisfying. Okay, to catch everybody up, to start a habit, it's cue, craving, response, reward. On the reward section, we want to make the reward satisfying because, what feels good gets repeated. Right? If we get the reward and it's satisfactory, what's satisfactory gets repeated. What's punished gets not repeated. Right? It doesn't get done again. You feel me? And so on this, pain is a great teacher. All right, you smash your fingers in a door, I bet you go through that door a little bit differently next time. I bet you keep your eye aware and make some changes because that didn't feel too good. It hurt. And so pain can be a very powerful educator. It allows us to learn. And so that's what we're wanting to do. When we do something and there's not enough pain, right? If you're in a bad habit, you're doing a bad habit, you got something you want to break. Let's just talk about eating unhealthily. Talk about eating bad. And there's not a big enough consequence for that. It makes it harder to stop doing because inherently we're all getting something. All right, that's habits. You're getting a reward. They're getting some type of pleasure, some kind of satisfaction for doing the things that you're doing, even if those are bad habits, especially if it's immediate. We've talked about this. So when you do something and the penalty is not too great, you're more likely to keep doing it. And there cannot be a gap between the penalty. We know the penalty of eating bad. It's being obese. It's having diabetes. It's having bad joint health. It's all kinds of stuff associated with your health, but it's long term. It's so far down the road that's not immediate enough. The point that we're going to talk about and understand, you got to understand this concept for this to really make sense and to take hold. There cannot be a gap in the pain, in the punishment, in the penalty for doing some of these bad habits. And that's why it's powerful to have an accountability partner, because you can solve all of this with an accountability partner. And here's the thing to keep note, that pain level has to be higher than the pain level of the thing you're wanting to do. So let's just take, for instance, the consequences for that. They need to be greater than the action. Example, if you're wanting to be healthier and lose weight and you need to exercise, man, exercise is painful. You're sweating, it takes energy, it takes a lot of effort. It's, a lot more energy than getting up off the couch and doing something. That in itself sometimes is, not satisfying. And so whatever the punishment is for being lazy, whatever the punishment is that you're going to set up for yourself for not doing those activities, it needs to be higher than that of actually working out. And so that's where a habit contract comes into place. And guys, that ain't nothing more than just a verbal or a written agreement of consequences that are to take place if you do not do whatever actions that you're trying to start. You're beholden to this with somebody else. That's why it's useful to have an accountability partner, because, it's one thing to let yourself down. It's another thing to let somebody else down when you know they're watching. Are you considered to be a person of your word, a man of your word, a person of your word? Like when you say something, you're going to follow through. Something real comes in when you make this verbal contract, this written agreement that, hey, I'm going to get 10,000 steps every single day. And when I don't do that, then there's a consequence to that. You got to pay him some money. You got to wear a team that you hate. If you're a big time, college football fan or NBA fan or whatever, and your nemesis, your evil rival that you absolutely can't stand, something that's painful for you, you've got to wear their gear all week or whatever, right? Like something you just don't want to do. Like make it very unpleasing for yourself not to follow through with this contract, with this behavior that you want to pick up. It's very simple. I want y'all to understand the gravity of this, like that you're going to have other people help hold you accountable. This is work. The funny thing, he gives an example of a guy in the book. His name is Brian Harris. There's actually somebody that, I know on Facebook. I've actually talked to him on the phone a couple of times. There's a guy from Memphis, big real estate guy. He ended up losing a lot of weight. And he put a habit contract in place. It was the first time that this author had actually seen it in practice. And I thought it was interesting because when I read the name and I found out where they was from, I was like, wow, I actually know this guy and communicate with this guy and follow this guy on Facebook. And so I knew who he was talking about, and I've actually watched this guy lose the weight. And it was interesting to see how he put his goals into place and how he used a habit contract to make that happen. And his was like, he had to dress up for work every single day. And this was like not jeans, not t-shirt, no casual day. Like you had to wear a suit and tie. He had to give his wife like $500 every time he didn't do the actions that he said he was going to do. Had to give his trainer $100 every time he didn't he put some, penalty. Like that hurts type penalty. And so that's pretty basic. I want to go over one for those who can't spend $500 or you're having trouble coming up with things. Here's something that I found from another book that I found to be extremely useful. And I've said this before on here and some of the other groups that I run. And here's a form of the habit contract that already ties into something we've already talked about, which is the habit tracker. Right? We've talked about moving the marbles over. We've talked about moving the paper clips or whatever yours. My personal method is the X's on the calendar. Well, we've talked about putting a reward on the end of that. Like say if you do this so many times or if you do this for 30 days or, you get an immediate reward for taking those actions, a date night with your wife or out to the theater or you're going on a vacation or whatever. Treat yourself if you string together so many days in a row. Well, that makes it satisfying. So we're here to make it unsatisfying. We're here to make it very not appealing at all. And so let's flip it. You want me to tell you a real powerful motivator? This works especially well for people who have kids. Go and tell your kids, got a 5-year-old and 9-year-old, go and tell them, hey, daddy's about to start doing this behavior. We're going to start doing this exercise. We're going to start making this many number of sales calls. And every time daddy does that, I get to put an X on the calendar. Whenever I get 30 X's in a row, then I'm going to take you guys to the theme park. I'm going to take you guys to the movies. I'm going to take you guys to get ices, right? Very easy to, please kids. I'm going to take you to Walmart. I'm going to let you pick out, anything in the toy section that's $10 or less. Okay? Like it can be simple. It don't have to be grandiose. Kids get pumped by that kind of stuff. Let me tell you something. Those kids will not let you forget. They're going to go in there, and that's a fun way to bring your kids and family into this, into your world, into your life, into the things that you're doing. And it's a great education tool. Like if your kids see you building up good positive habits and doing things that's bettering your life, you're automatically educating them. And to include them in that, I think is very powerful. Do you know what'll happen? They're going to come in and be like, yo, daddy, did you do your push-ups today? I don't see an X on the board. Can I put an X down? Did you do what you did? Man, again, one thing to let yourself down and easy to skip that day. Another thing entirely that if you miss that day, you know you cannot take them out. If daddy misses one day, we can't go and get that. And have to break that news to your kids, that's painful. That's something that's very non-satisfying that you do not want to do. That's painful. So that's a great accountability partner. The accountability partner doesn't necessarily be somebody that's like, come on, man, let's go. I'm going to pump you up. I'm calling. I'm texting you every single day. It doesn't have to be that. But there does need to be something in place that when they call and check in, you know, you have to be accountable for that. You have to answer for your actions or the lack thereof. And this with kids is very powerful. You got a girlfriend, do the same thing. Say, yo, look, boo, you know, I'm going to do such and such, but I got to do this first. That lets them know what's important to you. It includes them. And they get something out of it if you follow through. They happy, you happy. It's a reward for everybody. They're going to be on you. You know what I'm saying? So that's all about a habit contract. That's about accountability and having an accountability partner. And those are some good, very real, practical ideas of things that you can implement to just add that extra layer onto you starting a new habit or breaking a bad one. And so tomorrow we will be back with advanced tactics. I feel like I said that last week, but I missed a chapter. How to go from being merely good to being truly great. We're gonna start getting to teach y'all how to be great starting tomorrow. And so I hope you had a wonderful Monday. I hope you knocked it out of the park. I hope you're, go to sleep feeling fulfilled. That's the goal. Our goal is to have people who go to sleep feeling fulfilled and wake up the next morning with purpose and intent. And so I hope that was you today. I hope that's you tonight. And I hope that's you tomorrow. And until tomorrow, guys, I'm out.